On our website, you can get PDF learning materials for free. Please visit englist.me.
Dense.
Containing a large number of people or something with little space between them.
Examples:
Nutrient-dense foods. Dense forests. The entire mountain is covered in dense rainforest.
Atmosphere.
The mass of air that surrounds the Earth, the pervading tone or mood of a place, situation, or creative work.
Examples:
Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. A convivial atmosphere. The spaceship began to burn up as it approached the Earth's atmosphere.
Sweep.
To clean something, especially a floor or an area, by using a broom, move swiftly and smoothly.
Examples:
Sweep up dead leaves. Sweep a room with a glance. The politician tried to sweep the embarrassing incident under the rug.
Plain.
Without being decorated in any way, noun, a vast expanse of flat land with few trees.
Examples:
Plain answer. Delta plain. The lowest lowland region is mostly flat plain.
Sand.
Finely granulated particles of rock or mineral material, typically found along beaches, deserts, or riverbeds, used in construction, landscaping, and other applications requiring drainage or abrasive action.
Examples:
Sand dunes. Sand castle. The sand on the beach was warm and golden.
Dun.
Having a dull brownish-gray color, often used to describe the color of certain animals, such as a dun horse. Verb, to repeatedly and insistently demand payment of a debt or money owed.
Examples:
Dun horse. Dun him for the unpaid bills. The spider was camouflaged on the dun-colored rock, waiting for its next prey.
Crater.
A huge bowl-shaped cavity in the earth or an object in space, usually created by an explosion or the impact of a meteorite.
Examples:
Crater lake. Lunar crater. An enormous crater marks the area where the vast volcanic explosion occurred.
Titanic.
Of or having a great size, power, or influence, of or relating to titanium, equals a light, strong gray, lustrous, corrosion-resistant metallic element.
Examples:
Titanic battle. Titanic compound. The Titanic ship sank on its maiden voyage.
Voyage.
A long journey, especially by sea or in space.
Examples:
A voyage of discovery. Take a voyage. The astronaut trained for years before embarking on her voyage to the International Space Station.
Capture.
To catch a person or an animal and confine them in an area which they cannot escape.
Examples:
Capture a glimpse. Capture customers' hearts. I was able to capture the moment on film. Geography. A field of science devoted to the study of the lands, features, inhabitants, and phenomena of the earth.
Examples:
Geography class. Economic geography. She did well on her geography exam. Hazy. Not clear due to a lack of recollection, comprehension, or detail, unsure or perplexed about something. Examples: hazy dream. Hazy atmosphere. My recollections of the holiday were hazy. Stark. Empty, simple, or apparent, devoid of any qualifications. Examples: stark landscape. Stark truth. The scenery of the battlefield was stark and gray. Mystery. Something difficult to understand or explain, a secret or enigmatic quality that adds to the fascination or interest of something. A genre of fiction that involves the solution of a crime or a puzzle. Examples: mystery novel. Unsolved mystery. The mystery surrounding the disappearance of the traveler has yet to be solved by authorities. Exponential. Becoming more and more rapid, of or involving mathematical exponents. Examples: exponential growth. Exponential function. Since the 1990s, the Internet has continued to experience exponential growth. Beneath. In or to a lower place than someone or something. Examples: the ground beneath my feet. Beneath contempt. A great stretch of the lake lay beneath them. Atmospheric. Pertaining to or located in the Earth's atmosphere. Examples: doubling of atmospheric carbon dioxide. Atmospheric pressure. The sea surface temperature and atmospheric circulation are inextricably linked. Blanket. A large piece of soft material used to cover or wrap a person or thing to keep them warm. Adjective, broad in scope or content. Examples: blanket authority. Blanket scarf. The electric blanket keeps me warm on cold nights. Icy. Covered with ice or frost, very cold, lacking warmth or friendliness. Examples: icy clouds. Cast icy ice. The icy surface of the pond was not safe for skating. Observe. To watch or notice something carefully, often to gather information or insights, to take note of something or someone, To celebrate or commemorate a special event or occasion.
Examples:
Observe a tradition. Observe wildlife. It is important to observe safety procedures in the workplace to prevent accidents.
Jovian.
Relating to Jupiter or its characteristics.
Examples:
Jovian satellites. Jovian planet. The Jovian moon Europa is believed to have an ocean beneath its icy surface.
Vast.
Enormous in size, number, amount, or quantity.
Examples:
Vast majority. Vast desert. A vast audience viewed the broadcast.
Liquid.
A substance, such as water or oil, that flows freely and is neither a solid nor a gas.
Examples:
Colorless liquid. Hazardous liquid. The sponge takes up the liquid well.
Methane.
A chemical compound with the chemical formula CH4 with no smell or color, often used as a fuel.
Examples:
Atmospheric methane. Reduce methane emissions. The ignition of methane gas in the plant killed 5 employees.
Shroud.
A length of cloth or other material used to cover or wrap a dead body, something that conceals or obscures something else, often used metaphorically.
Examples:
Shroud of mystery. Shroud of suspicion. The protective shroud covered the body in the coffin at the funeral.
Obscure.
Not well known to many people.
Examples:
Obscure answer. Obscure artist. This information was primarily obscured in the first release.
Haze.
Atmospheric moisture, dust, or smoke that makes it less clear, a state of mental confusion caused by lack of clarity.
Examples:
A haze of illusion. Haze of tears. We couldn't see him through the haze of smoke.
Outstanding.
Superior to others in excellence, not yet paid, completed, etc.
Examples:
An outstanding new record. Pay outstanding debts. It's an area of outstanding natural beauty.
Orbit.
The path of an object around a celestial body, especially a planet, star, or moon, under the influence of gravity.
Examples:
The orbit of the moon. A planetary orbit. The rocket engine is used to put the satellite into orbit.
Launch.
To send or propel something into the air or space using a device such as a rocket, missile, or spacecraft, to make something available or on sale for the first time.
Examples:
Launch a spaceship into orbit. Launch a big attack. The company is set to launch its new product line next month.
Arrival.
The act or situation of coming or being brought to a place, accomplishment of an objective.
Examples:
Arrival and departure gate. Arrival at a conclusion. Weather forecasters are predicting the arrival of a heat wave.
Determinant.
A factor, circumstance, or condition that contributes to the shaping, influencing, or determining of a particular outcome or result.
Examples:
Environmental determinant. A determinant of crop yields. One determinant of success is having a positive attitude and a strong work ethic.
Stripe.
A long, narrow band of a different color or texture than the surface on which it appears.
Examples:
A white stripe. Stripe texture. The plates have a blue stripe around the edge.
Initially.
At the beginning, at first.
Examples:
Initially anticipated. Diagnosed initially as a tumor. This train departed later than initially scheduled.
Recognizable.
Easy to become aware of or identify.
Examples:
To a recognizable degree. Recognizable landmark. His car was easily recognizable in the parking lot.
Refer.
To direct someone's attention, thoughts, or questions to another source or person, to mention, cite, or allude to something as evidence or support.
Examples:
Refer to a book. Refer to a map. Please refer to the instruction manual for further assistance.
Scratch.
To cut or damage the surface of something or the skin with a sharp or pointed object.
Examples:
Scratch off a name. Scratch my signature. Don't scratch your mosquito bites.
Organic.
Pertaining to or derived from biological substance, producing plants and animals for food and other items without the use of synthetic chemicals.
Examples:
Organic soils. Eat organic food. Kidney is an organic component of the body.
Privilege.
A special right or advantage that only one person or group of people has, usually because they are rich and powerful in a society.
Examples:
A breach of privilege. Privilege of membership. In the Middle Ages, the right to hunt in the wild was the privilege of royalty and nobility.
Geology.
A science that deals with the history of the Earth as recorded in rocks.
Examples:
Bureau of Geology. Local geology. He was a visiting geology professor at the University of Tokyo.
Hint.
An indirect suggestion, a slight but appreciable amount of something.
Examples.
Hint of trouble. Helpful hints. There was no hint of a problem.
Mar.
To damage or spoil the appearance or surface of something.
Examples.
Mar a proper relationship. Mar the reputation. The scratches on the car marred its otherwise perfect appearance.
Asteroid.
A small rocky body orbiting the Sun, typically in the region between Mars and Jupiter.
Examples.
Asteroid mining. Asteroid explorer. Scientists are studying the composition and origins of the asteroid belt to understand the early solar system better.
Belt.
To sing loudly and forcefully, to hit someone or something hard. Noun, a strip of leather or other material worn to tie or buckle something around the body.
Examples.
Belt him in the face. Leather belt. The band was belting out old songs in response to audience requests.
Immense.
Extremely large or great.
Examples.
Immense amount. Immense pressure. He left his wife an immense fortune.
Interior.
The inside or inner part of something, the space within the walls of a building.
Examples.
Interior decoration. Plenty of interior space. The painter focused on the moody interiors of abandoned buildings in his work.
Combine.
To join or merge to form a single thing or group.
Examples.
Combine chemically with another substance. Combine augmented reality. Hydrogen and oxygen combine to form water.
Exotic.
Originating from or characteristic of a foreign country or culture, strikingly unusual, uncommon, or intriguing.
Examples.
Exotic species. Exotic vacation. I love trying exotic foods from different cultures.
Ethane.
A colorless, odorless hydrocarbon gas with the molecular formula C2H6 that is a basic component of natural gas and is used as a fuel source and in the production of chemicals.
Examples.
Ethane production. Ethane gas. Ethane combustion is an important energy source for heating and electricity generation.
Fascinating.
Extremely interesting.
Examples.
Fascinating story. Completely fascinating to me. The museum houses a fascinating collection of Celtic artifacts.
Explore.
To travel to or penetrate an area or a country to learn about it, to thoroughly examine a subject or a possibility to learn more about it.
Examples:
Explore the world. Explore our options. The management must explore strategies to increase office security.
Dragonfly.
A slender-bodied non-stinging insect having two pairs of large transparent wings that are outspread at rest.
Examples:
Dragonfly passing over the water. Dragonfly larva. I caught a rare dragonfly in the mountains.
Applied.
Of or relating to a subject of study, especially a science, that is used in a practical way.
Examples:
Applied research. Applied physics. Military technology eventually became the foundation for applied technology that supported people's lives.
Physics.
The science of matter and energy and their interactions.
Examples:
Nuclear physics. Laws of physics. He studied the physics of radiation.
Laboratory.
A workplace for doing scientific research or teaching science, a lab.
Examples:
Laboratory accident. Anthropology laboratory. Animal protection groups call for an end to animal testing in a laboratory.
Schedule.
A list of planned activities, tasks, or things that must be completed showing when they are intended to happen or be done.
Examples:
A heavy schedule. Arrange my schedule. So far, the meeting is going according to schedule.
Rotorcraft.
An aircraft or vehicle that uses one or more rotors for lift, propulsion, and directional control, including helicopters, gyroplanes, and tilt rotors.
Examples:
Lithium-powered rotorcraft. Rotorcraft technology. The company specializes in the design and manufacturing of high-performance rotorcraft.
Rover.
A vehicle designed to travel over rough terrain, especially on the surface of a planet or moon.
Examples:
Rover mission. Lunar rover. The rover on Mars is gathering data on the planet's surface and sending it back to Earth.
Gravity.
The force that attracts a body towards the center of the Earth or towards any other physical body having mass, a manner that is solemn.
Examples:
The attraction of gravity. Preserve my gravity. The astronaut felt weightless in space due to the absence of gravity.
Technique.
A particular way or art of doing something that needs skill.
Examples:
A technique in martial arts. The technique applied to construction. jockey's superior technique brought him victory.
Octocopter.
A type of uncrewed, remote-controlled aerial vehicle or drone that is powered by 8 electric motors and uses rotors to achieve vertical takeoff and landing, as well as maneuvering in various directions.
Examples:
Aerial octocopter, 6-rotor octocopter. The octocopter drone can hover and shoot stable aerial footage.
Instrument.
An object used to make musical sounds, such as a piano, guitar, or drum, a tool or device used for a specific activity, particularly in specialist or scientific work.
Examples:
Musical instruments, surgical instruments. This electronic instrument is required to undergo periodic inspections to ensure precision.
Investigate.
To conduct a systematic or formal inquiry to identify and evaluate the facts of a crime, problem, statement, etc., to establish the truth.
Examples:
Investigate the matter. Investigate a data leak. The committee investigated several apparent inconsistencies.
Chemistry.
The branch of the natural sciences dealing with the composition of substances and their properties and reactions.
Examples:
Professor of chemistry. The chemistry of soil. He is familiar with chemistry and biology.
Interact.
To communicate or react with somebody.
Examples:
Interact directly with customers. Interact with one another. He should interact more with his colleagues.
Earthquake.
A sudden and violent shaking of the ground caused by the movement of rock beneath the Earth's surface.
Examples:
An earthquake zone. An earthquake proof. The violent earthquake caused widespread damage and injuries throughout the region.
Quake.
To shake or vibrate violently and for a short time.
Examples:
Quake in his boots. Quake with cold. The earth began to quake, and he knew he had to leave the building immediately.
Crust.
A hard outer layer that forms on the surface of a liquid as it cools or on a solid as a result of exposure to air or moisture.
Examples:
Crust formation. The Earth's crust. The bread's crust was golden brown and crispy.
Develop.
To grow or expand, to improve or refine through a process of progress and refinement, often to achieve greater sophistication or complexity, to elaborate or add detail to something that is in the process of being created.
Examples:
Develop a strategy. Develop a skill. We must develop a new system to streamline our workflow and increase efficiency.
Autonomous.
Capable of governing or controlling its affairs.
Examples:
Development of autonomous vehicles. An autonomous judiciary. 5 of the 6 provinces will become autonomous regions under the new federal system of government.
Navigation.
The act of directing a ship or airplane from place to place, advice or information intended to resolve a problem or challenge, especially as given by someone in authority.
Examples:
Navigation system. Visual navigation. The plane's navigation system had problems, which mechanics found.
Exploration.
The activity of searching and finding out about something through a place.
Examples:
Future of space exploration. An Arctic exploration. He called for a careful exploration of the consequences.
Possibility.
A chance that something may happen or be true.
Examples:
Possibility for growth. Possibility of a major earthquake. The possibility of getting the disease will drastically increase.
Descend.
To move downward and lower, to come from or to be connected by a relationship of blood.
Examples:
Descend a steep hill. Descend by elevator. She was descended from an old Italian noble family.
Veil.
A piece of fine cloth worn by women to cover or conceal the face. Verb, to cover, conceal, or obscure.
Examples:
Veil of mystery. Veil her face. He lifted her veil with both hands.
Environment.
The natural world such as air, water, and land in which humans, animals, and plants live.
Examples:
Environment affairs. Chaotic environment. Every human is responsible for taking care of the Earth's environment.
Probe.
A tool used for testing or examining, especially for medical or scientific purposes, or an exploratory mission to a planet or other celestial body. Verb, to investigate, examine, or search into something.
Examples:
A lunar probe. Probe for inside information. NASA sent a probe to study the atmosphere of Jupiter.
Analog.
Relating to or using signals or information represented by a continuous physical quantity, such as spatial position, voltage, etc.
Examples:
An analog watch. Digitization of analog sounds. Mercury thermometers are a type of analog sensor.
Ingredient.
One of the things used to make something, especially one of the foods used to make a particular dish.
Examples:
Secret ingredients. Compound the ingredients. Greed is the primary ingredient in the making of criminals.
Immerse.
To become fully involved in a particular activity, to dip or submerge in a liquid, especially so that they or it are entirely covered.
Examples:
Immerse the cloth in the dye. Completely immerse the ingredient. He immersed himself in his research.
Alien.
A person who comes from a different country, race, or group, a form of life assumed to exist outside the Earth or its atmosphere.
Examples:
Alien fungi. Resident aliens. Alien species have drastically altered the ecosystem in this area.
Compound.
An item composed of two or more distinct elements combined, a chemical formed by the combination of two or more elements.
Examples:
Aquatic compound. Harmful compound. Common salt is a sodium and chlorine compound.
Habitable.
Able to be lived in, suitable or fit for living in, providing sufficient conditions for survival and well-being.
Examples:
Habitable planet. Habitable space. The astronauts discovered a potentially habitable planet in the neighboring galaxy.
Concept.
An idea or principle associated with something abstract.
Examples:
Learn new concepts. Concept car. One such rapidly growing concept is quantum cryptography.
Suitable.
Fit or appropriate, proper, adapted.
Examples:
Suitable amount. Date suitable to both groups. The dress was suitable for the formal occasion.
Inspire.
To make somebody feel with a desire, confidence, or enthusiasm, especially to do something creative.
Examples:
Inspire a feeling of curiosity. Inspire him to write a novel. The unique style of this martial arts inspired many action film producers.
Imaginary.
Existing only in someone's mind.
Examples:
Imaginary number. Imaginary pregnancy. Little children tend to have imaginary friends.
Grand.
Important and large in size, scope, or extent.
Examples:
A grand meal. This year.
Biology.
The scientific study of life and the natural processes of living things.
Examples:
Evolutionary biology. Cell and molecular biology. In junior high school, we had to dissect a frog in biology class.
Chemical.
Relating to or connected with chemistry.
Examples:
Toxic chemicals. A chemical compound. The firm has grown into a large chemical manufacturing.
Process.
A series of actions or operations performed to achieve a particular outcome or goal. A systematic procedure or approach used to accomplish a specific task or objective. A method of treating milk to make it suitable for consumption or use in other dairy products.
Examples:
Process improvement. Decision-making process. The process for applying for a visa can be lengthy and complicated.
Molecule.
A group of two or more atoms held together by attractive forces known as chemical bonds.
Examples:
Small molecules. Molecule behavior. The shape of the DNA molecule is a double helix.
Opportune.
Suitable or happening at a time that is suitable or convenient for a particular purpose.
Examples:
Opportune occasion. An opportune remark. The phone rang at the most opportune time.
Synthesis.
The combination of components or elements to form a more complex whole. The creation of something new through combining parts or elements.
Examples:
Synthesis of ammonia. Protein synthesis inhibitor. The chemical synthesis of the new drug was a breakthrough in medical research.
Progression.
The act or process of changing to the next stage or phase or moving forward.
Examples:
Progression of civilization. Progression of disease. The company has made great strides in its progression towards sustainability.
Fundamental.
Forming an essential base or core from which everything else develops or is affected.
Examples:
Fundamental education. Fundamental rights. Human behavior has fundamental characteristics.
Endeavor.
To make an earnest attempt or effort, to strive or work hard towards a goal or objective.
Examples:
Endeavor to succeed. Endeavor as much as possible. We will endeavor to find a solution to the problem as quickly as possible.
Tantalize.
To tease or torment by presenting something desirable, but out of reach or unattainable. To tempt or lure with the promise of something desirable.
Examples:
Tantalize taste buds. Tantalize with promises. The smell of freshly baked cookies in the kitchen tantalized me.
Ultimate.
Furthest or highest in degree or order.
Examples:
The ultimate goal in life. The ultimate luxury. Management must take ultimate responsibility for the accident.
Manna.
A sweet-tasting and nutritious substance that, according to the Bible, was provided by God to the Israelites during their journey through the wilderness, any unexpected or miraculous source of sustenance or benefit.
Examples:
Manna from heaven. Manna in the desert. In the desert, the travelers survived by eating manna, a miraculous food on the ground.
Heaven.
Of various religious and mythological traditions, a place or state of existence considered to be the abode of the divine, the afterlife, or a higher realm of being, a state of great happiness, contentment, or beauty.
Examples:
Ascend to heaven. Heaven on earth. He felt like heaven when he tasted the delicious chocolate cake.
Largely.
Virtually entirely, to a large degree.
Examples:
Largely accepted. Largely mitigate the issue. Nevada is largely a desert state.
Alter.
To cause to change or make different.
Examples:
Alter a decision. Alter data in a file. The design of the web page has altered slightly.
Origin.
The first existence or beginning of something.
Examples:
Origin of all humankind. A manuscript of uncertain origin. There are various hypotheses concerning the origin of life.